What's up guys, it's Tajae here, back with another Last of Us Part 2 informational video. And it seems that everybody liked the little Q&A based thing that I did last video, so I decided I was going to go through and do it again and have a part 2, and might as well just make this a series until the game is actually released in May. And I think it'll be very interactive, and it'll be, very refreshing since there's not really any news going on. So expect this to continue once every 2 days. But before we continue, if you guys could go ahead and drop a like on the video, I would really appreciate that, as well as subscribe to the channel for brand new with post notifications on, because I do upload very high quality content here on the regular. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. We're going to start off with the message from Marquez Brooks, and he says, "I want to know and I'm looking forward to how a lot of the side characters are going to tie in with the story and make it work. Because this time it seems like we're going to have a much larger roster. Yara, Lev, Jesse, Kat, Maria, and the mystery woman aren't sparking up a lot of attention. The focus is being kept on Ellie and Dina's relationship. Plus Joel is the boy, you feel me? However, I think we're going to be heavily misled with the story." Now, I just want to say that I'm very glad that you touched on this, because I actually made a video about Yara and Lev where I did like a mini analysis, and I talked about how everybody only talks about Ellie and Dina, and it's like they don't show any other interest into any of the other supportive characters. And we do have a very large roster this time around, and I feel like not enough people are actually focused on the big picture at hand. Because yes, this story is about Ellie's journey and her quest for revenge, and yes, obviously something happened for her to go on her revenge quest, but for us to have all these supportive characters, we know that Naughty Dog, they write great stories, and most of the time a character fits in somehow. They don't just have like write-offs. If you look at the first game, every single character, it drove the story in some type of way. You could say Robert is one of the most useless, pointless characters of that game, but at the same time, it gave our characters Joel and Tess, a mission, a drive, a conflict to actually go through with for us to get into the game. And then they gave us a complete 360, and we end up killing off Robert, and now we have to go get our weapons back a different way, and that's how we meet Ellie. Really, without Robert, our entire story couldn't have been set up at all. It wouldn't have worked. It's in there, literally every single character in this game, they played some form of role in pushing the story forward and changing the tone, or they left a message. Every single character played their impact. The only character you could truly argue and say that didn't really have anything to do with much of anything would be Maria. But without Maria, Joel wouldn't have had any second thoughts on having Tommy, take Ellie off of his hands and fulfill his promise that he made to Tess. Joel is kind of obligated to, get Ellie across the country to the Fireflies because of a promise that he made to his dead friend that he cared about. It would be wrong for him to, just drop it off. Also, you have to remember, Maria let Ellie know about Joel's past. Ellie wouldn't know anything about Joel's past if it wasn't for Maria. The whole thing about Sarah, Ellie wouldn't even have a clue about if it wasn't for Tommy's wife. So yeah, think about The Last of Us 2, thinking about all those different characters having a game. They're all going to play some form and some role in some fashion to push our story forward. And I'm very excited to see how that works, especially for the mystery woman, because we know she's going to be a huge key character. I also want to know more about Yara and Lev, because they're literally ex-Seraphites. If anything, they're going to show us what the Seraphites are like from the inside. Maybe their origins, their practices, things that they do. I feel like they're going to give us a lot of information about the Seraphites that, we probably wouldn't have known about. But yeah, I'm going to just stop right there, because I feel like I can elaborate on that one submission this entire video. So I'm going to just go ahead and drop it off right there. You guys get the gist of what I'm saying. We're going to hop into the next topic. Haley Watson says, "It's going to be interesting to see just how many things the trailer misled us about, if in fact that's what's happening. I'm anxious to find out what really happened to Ellie and Dina in that basement, because we're obviously being tricked, I think." So I just want to say that we actually already know that the trailer kind of misled us a bit, because at the 3-hour media event that they showcased for the game, the people who played actually said that whenever Ellie's looking inside, the snowstorm for Dina, she actually finds Dina, and then you end up in the first scene of the actual story trailer where they're smoking weed. So in a way, I feel like we're already misled there, because what they did inside the story trailer was that they actually showed us looking for Dina, and then they had us walking into this cabin, and then we don't see what's on the other side of the door whenever she gets ambushed. And I feel like that could be anybody in the room. Yes, we think it's Dina, we think Dina got shot, which sounds plausible, but at the same time, since that whole scene where we're looking for Dina doesn't actually match up to what they showed, I feel like Dina may not be the person in that room. I don't have an idea of who I think will be in the room, but it might not be Dina. And even if it is Dina, we don't even know if it's Dina who gets shot. We don't know if Ellie gets sexually assaulted in that scene. There's so many different theories floating around that honestly at this point, I feel like what we all think it is, as in Dina being killed, it's not at all it. So I feel like we are very much being misled, and I'm very excited to find out what actually happens when we do play the game, because I feel like it's going to shock us very, very harshly. You never know, that part of the game could be like near the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might not even be near the beginning. We really don't even know where it takes place inside the game. So it'll be very interesting to see what actually happens. Gaming Guide says, I'm looking forward to seeing how they continue the story and what events from the first game will have impacts on the second game. Also, what opportunities it opens for a third game and/or spin-offs, and how will they expand the Last of Us universe. Now, when it comes to this, I don't think that the first game is going to have any true impactful events that's going to, alter the second game, but I do feel like the second game will have references to the first game for, like, OG fans of The Last of Us who actually went through and played the first game. For instance, I'm pretty sure The Last of Us Part 2 will have plenty of parallels from the first game inside the second, and they'll be very cool to see, and it's more like paying homage to original fans of the game. So yeah, I'll see stuff like that happening, but in the terms of there being a Part 3, I don't think there will be one. I think we can't really say that yet, just because we know the first game had a beginning, middle, and an end of the story, and the first game, the story was concluded. Ellie and Joel's journey was completed, and there was no need for a second game, but of course they brought in a second game, and in the second game it's the same exact thing. There's a beginning, middle, and end of the story, and after we beat Last of Us Part 2, the story shall be completed. It should be concluded. That's what Neil Druckmann said. So if there be room for a Part 3, we'll actually just have to see whenever that comes, and if they write up another story. But me personally, I don't think there will be a Part 3 for The Last of Us, but I would take it if there is, of course, but we just have to see what Part 2, what happens with Part 2 and how that plays out first. But those are all the submissions that stuck out to me thus far. If you guys want to be featured, just leave a comment down below on what you think I should talk about, as well as leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new with post notifications on, because I do upload very high quality content on the regular. And I'll see you guys next time with another banger.